Hey, and what is going on, everybody? It is Zero here, back with some more Diablo action. And today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Delrashas set, or the, however you want to, Delrashas set, or however you want to pronounce it, guys. That's what we're talking about today. And we're going to be talking about, more importantly, not just Delrashas, but Delrashas, which a lot of people are using now. People are more so using Delrashas, I think, to get into the position where they have gear good enough to approach the top of the leaderboards, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. It's a pretty easy to put together set, to be honest. And I really like the play style of it. It's really active as opposed to Firebirds, and how unbelievably boring Firebirds was, right, guys? So boring. It's strong too, man. I think it performs way better in group play than it does solo, and maybe that's just because my gear for it is terrible, which you will see shortly. That being said, with terrible gear, I'm doing 45s, 46s solo. I haven't tried a 47, but I think I'd probably pull it off with the right grift. With all ideal and optimized gear, probably do the plus 50s for sure. But I'm not at that point yet. So let's get right into it, guys. We'll look at the skills first. We are using Magic Missile with Glacial Spike. Mirror Image, Duplicates. Duplicates is a must. They're so badass in this build. Slow Time, Point of No Return. Energy Armor, Force Armor, Black Hole, Supermassive, Teleport, Calamity. You could totally switch Calamity out for something else if you prefer. Safe Passage is really good as well. So is Wormhole. They're all, I mean, actually, realistically, all of the teleports are good runes, but right now I'm just rolling with Calamity. It's what I've been liking. Passives, we're going for Illusionist. This is a big one. It's gonna bring your slow time and your teleport and your mirror image cooldowns down so fast all the time. It's great. Unstable Anomaly, this is our basically free life passive. Elemental Exposure, this is a big one. We're going to be getting a lot of damage buffs out of this. And Evocation for reducing cooldowns even further. Now, Evocation you could easily switch out for, say, Blur for more damage reduction. Or Glass Cannon, though Glass Cannon comes with its own downfall, as we all know. Okay, so that's basically that. I mean, the build itself is really self-explanatory, and you'll see that in the gameplay itself. It's very easy to play, but it's very active, and that's what I like about it. I don't feel like I'm just like dropping, you know, like with Firebirds, dropping the Fire Blizzard, and you just basically wait. I mean, you're just moving around and doing nothing but dropping blizzards. Super boring, right? So this is actually really active, and it's great in group play. Let's look at the gear. Okay, so starting off with, this is probably one of my better pieces of the gear that I have so far anyway. Shrouded Mask. This is part of the Delrashas, or Delrashas, or however you want to pronounce it set. Intelligence, Vitality, Crit Hit Chance, and throw in a Life Gem there, guys. If you've opted to drop... what were we talking about? Evocation to reduce your cooldowns, and you've gone with, say, Blur or Glass Cannon instead, I would suggest putting in a Diamond in there for cooldown reduction, guys. Okay, and if you don't know what the Delrashas set or Delrashas set does, the 2-piece set casting Arcane Orb, Energy Twister, Magic Missile, or Shock. I can never say Shock Pulse for some reason. Shock Pulse reduces the cooldown of slow time by 2 seconds. That's crazy. Your slow time is going to be up like almost all the time, guys, with this build. 4-piece set, which is what we're going for in this build. Enemies affected by your slow time take 2,000% weapon damage every second. That's crazy. They take so much damage. You put a slow time down and things are just like getting eaten up. So it's actually really good for group play. So even if you're not in the vicinity and you can just drop down a slow time bubble, you're going to be helping contribute to the damage being output. And the 6-piece set we'll cover in a different video, because that's not really relevant to this build. Okay, Shoulders, Dashing Pauldrons of Despair. This is also part of the Delrashas set. Intelligence, Vitality, Armor, a little bit more cooldown reduction there. You could obviously switch the CDR out for something else if you wish. Gloves, we are going with... Actually, let's move on to the other piece of the Delrashas. Sorry, guys. Leg guards of mystery, intelligence, vitality, armor. Obviously, if you can get some life after kill on the secondary, that would be preferable. Life after kill on any piece of gear you can get it on. It's fantastic. I don't think I need to explain why. Okay, let's move on to the Talus pieces, guys. We're using Delrashas' Relentless Pursuit. So happy to see this chess piece back at the top of the pile, or close to the top of the pile for Wizard chess pieces. I know all you guys that used to play CM like me will remember it as being super amazing and like the best in slot. And it's getting close to that again, guys. So I'm happy about that. Intelligence, vitality, attack speed, life percent is what I'm rolling on this. Obviously, we got our intelligence gems in there. If you don't know what Talus set does, 2-piece set damaging enemies with arcane, cold, fire, lightning will cause a meteor of the same damage type to fall from the sky. There is an 8-second cooldown for each damage type. Now the meteors is where we're going to be getting a lot of our damage out of, guys. 4-piece set, attacks increase your resistance to that damage type by 100% for 6 seconds. That is a big buff, guys. Super amazing. 6-piece set, attacks increase your damage 150% for 6 seconds. Arcane, cold, fire, and lightning attacks each add 1 stack. Adding a stack refreshes the duration. So you're getting big damage buffs out of it all the time too. It's fantastic. Okay, moving on, we're going with the belt. Delrashas' Brace, intelligence, vitality, resistance, armor, and again, get that life after kill if you can. Okay, this is a very tanky belt. It's really going to help with your survivability, guys. Okay, next piece, gloves. Mine aren't ideal, obviously. I need new everything in this build, almost. Intelligence, vitality, crit chance, crit damage. Amulet, you definitely will prefer to have intelligence, crit chance, crit damage on this, guys, rather than the attack speed that I have. In there, you're going to drop in a Bane of the Trapped. And Bane of the Trapped, always, I'm not going to explain what it does again, guys. You know what it does. So Bane of the Trapped is going to synergize very well with Point of No Return. Every time an enemy goes into the bubble or comes out of the bubble, they're going to get stunned, so that's fantastic. It's also going to synergize very well with Glacial Spike. If you don't know what Glacial Spike does, I don't know why you're playing Wizard. Casts out a shard of ice that explodes on impact, causing enemies within 4.5 yards to take 175% weapon damage as cold and be frozen for 1 second. So again, synergizing with Bane of the Trapped. And it's also going to synergize with your black hole. Okay, so you're obviously always going to be getting this very lovely damage buff out of Bane of the Trapped. As you can see, mine's a low level too, and I'm doing very well on my own and doing very well in group play, guys. Okay, last piece of Talus that we're using is Delrashas' Unwavering Glare. Intelligence, vitality, crit chance. Mine's got crit chance or crit hits, crit 4 arcane. I can't even speak, man. I haven't had enough coffee today. So we got the crit hits, grant 4 arcane power on there, but that's not ideal in my opinion. I would go for like elite damage, but I don't want to sink any resources into re-rolling something that I'm just going to replace with an ancient piece anyway. And increased meteor damage is a must on this piece, guys. This coffee is delicious. I hope you guys like my laid-back approach to these build guides, because sometimes when I'm recording I'm just like, I must look like a goddamn fool. Anyway, moving on. Boots, and this is a must for the build guys. These boots are amazing. Nilfur's Boast, intelligence, vitality, all res, and meteor damage. Definitely put the meteor damage on there. Like I said before, you're going to be getting a lot of your damage out of the meteor. Okay? And you don't even have it on your hotbar. It's just coming down because of Talus. It's awesome. And it's got a special affix on there, guys. Increase the damage of meteor by 100%. Awesome, right? When your meteor hits 3 or fewer enemies, the damage is increased by 164%, and that can go up to 220, I think. No, 200. 220. What kind of fucked up number did I think of? Yeah, so that can roll up to 200, and that's good in the sense that they haven't forgotten about single target damage. It's a lot of times with a lot of builds, sometimes, you know, you fly through a grift like super great, and then you get to the Guardian and it's just like, oh man, this is taking forever because I have like really bad single target damage. But this takes that into account, so even when you're fighting the Guardian, unless he pulls out a bunch of minions, you'll have that 150 to 200% extra damage on your meteors, and even if he does pull out a bunch of minions, you're still going to have 100% more meteor damage, so it's fantastic, okay? Bracers, we are using the Ancient Parthon Defenders. You could use other things here, but I would recommend these just because of the special affix. Each enemy stunned within 25 yards reduces the damage taken by 9%. That's fantastic. Big damage reduction for you because you're constantly going to be stunning things. And a lot of times you're going to be close to the enemies. Okay? I got fire skills on there because the fire meteor is the strongest of the meteors. So I just felt like buffing that one. Obviously, if you don't have one with fire and it's a different element, you can still do it. Your fire meter is just not going to be as strong. Intelligence, vitality must be crit hit chance, guys, and god, those monster kill experience is crap. Bothers me. Rings, we're going for the convention of elements. This will obviously change come the next patch, guys. Hello, focus and restraint. What? Intelligence, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. And if you don't know what the convention of elements does, you gain a damage buff to each element, rotates around every 4 seconds to a different element, and it's crazy. So with this build, since we're using basically all the elements, we're constantly be getting different buffs, and you can, if you're patient and take your time, actually line up the cycle with the damage you're doing. It's fantastic. In there we got a moratorium. 25% of all damage taken is instead staggered and dealt to you over 6.10 seconds. 10% chance on kill to clear all staggered damage. So this is all about damage mitigation. This actually procs fairly often and clears the staggered damage. It's fantastic. I like it a lot. Ring of Royal Grandeur, intelligence, attack speed, crit hit chance. Basically just go for the best roll you can on a Ring of Royal Grandeur. You know what you need to get, guys, obviously. I don't need to explain it to you. In there we got a Molten Wildebeest Gizzard. Regen 47,000 life per second. So we're constantly getting HP back. And after not taking damage for 4 seconds, gain an absorbed shield for 200% of your total life per second. So that's fantastic. So if you have a lot of life per second, you're going to have this massive shield after 4 seconds of no damage. Get off of me, fly. Okay, and last but not least, we are using the Sunkeeper. There's so many weapons you can use in this build. I'm just using the Sunkeeper for the added elite damage. Like I said, it's not, like, this build isn't the best against the Griff Guardian. I don't know if I said that or not, but it's true. That's the worst part about Grift soloing, that is. The Griff Guardian takes a little while to go down, depending on the Guardian. Some of them go down a little easier, and obviously depending on the Griff level. But the Sunkeeper is very good because of that extra elite damage. So I got a 10% damage roll on there, intelligence, elite damage, and obviously you're going to put an emerald in your socket. There are other options for the weapon as well, guys. Don't feel like you must use a Sunkeeper. Even though by this time a lot of people probably have 1 or 2 or more stashed away in their stash just in case. There are other things you could use. You could obviously use the Aether Walker, allowing you to teleport indefinitely just as long as you have enough mana, or arcane I should say, sorry, this is not the Witch Doctor. There's a number of other, you could obviously use a Devastator as well for even more fire damage. That wouldn't be a bad choice. And the Devastator is craftable, obviously. So there are definitely other options. You could even use a Serpent Sparker and try and work in the Hydra, though I wouldn't recommend it on this build. Obviously there is a Hydra build with towels that people are using in the top ranks, which is something that I'd like to cover in the near future as long as I can get all the proper rolls and my other gems leveled up appropriately to showcase you guys the builds. Unfortunately I haven't had a lot of time lately, guys, to be recording videos or even play Diablo, which is unfortunate. It's my favorite game. But I'm working on some other stuff for the channel too, guys, bringing some other games to the channel. I know that hasn't always worked out great in the past with other games, like with The Witcher, but that just didn't translate very well into video form for me, and I just decided to just keep playing it on my own and take it off the channel. But I have some ideas for some other games in particular that I really wish I was still playing, and I'm going to start playing them again, and I'm going to put them on the channel, and maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't. Anyway, guys, I really like this build. It's very active, it's very fun to play. And it's very strong, and it's such a nice change of pace from what we've been playing on Wizard since ROS came out, isn't it? I mean, I think all of us that love the Wizard have just been kind of bummed out about where the Wizard's been for a very long time, and now the Wizard finally is catching up to the other classes, and it's been a very long wait. It's a very overdue change, so I'm very happy. Anyway, guys, I want to thank all of you who've been being patient and keeping subscribed to the channel during my absence of uploading regular videos. just, you know, life happens and can't always record, guys. Can't always play games. It's just the way it is. So thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the Delrashas set and what variant, because there's many variants of the Delrashas build. What variant you're really enjoying playing most of all? This is the one I'm liking most of all, but I'd be happy to cover some of the other ones, like the Arcane Orb one. There's multiple Arcane Orb builds for it, if you guys are interested. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Send your friends over here, man. I need more subscribers. I need people to talk to. I need some friends. Yeah. Thanks very much, guys. Later.